Welcome to your Try It Before You Buy It channel, your very own Try It Before You Buy It channel with your host Karamullah Kadwani. Apologies for taking some time to get onto the bandwagon of reviewing this beautiful fragrance, Tobacco Honey by the House of Guerlain. This falls under the L'Art La Matière collection, meaning art and material. I hope trying to learn French for my viewers is going to be my new endeavor, inshallah. So you see, I have two of my most favoritist things on my table at the moment. I have my, I don't remember what number of coffee this is, but I love coffee and I love fragrances. Spoiler alert, super expensive but super bougie fragrance, Tobacco Honey. The bottle in front of you is a 200 ml. That costed me about 2,250 dirhams. That's the UAE local currency here. Guerlain has taken 17 years before jumping onto the bandwagon of tobacco fragrances. I remember Tom Ford's Tobacco Honey back in the day. It was launched in 2007 and remained one of my most used fragrances till about 2010. I think Arid came out in 2012, if I'm not mistaken, by Perfumes de Marly, and Naxos by the House of Zerjov 2015, I think it was. That's when I purchased my first bottle of Naxos, which is still intact, which we will later discuss during this review, inshallah. Let's see. And all these fragrances that I have mentioned, nothing taking away from these fragrances, these have all enjoyed the legendary status for the longest time that I can think of. Is this worth your money or just another follower? Let me take you through an interview with Terry Wasser and his opinions and comments, which will tell you more about him and touch base on Guerlain, as well as highlighting the different areas of the House of Guerlain. So he met someone in Switzerland who gave him his break as an intern, and then someone who also gave him his opportunity at the perfumery school in Jouveton. That built him and molded him in the personality we know him now of, and he reflects. And he and Mr. Guerlain went very well. In 2009, he created Idel as the in-house perfumer at Guerlain. When Terry Wasser joined Guerlain, he was 47. And I guess he's 63 now. At which age you're a master of your craft. And here, it was like starting all over again for Terry Wasser. The Ideal still sells today, and that goes out to say a lot about the kind of the work he's capable of and he's done, and the work that he's accomplished in the past years with Guerlain. Working with Guerlain is a totally different animal, he says. How he describes it as is, if you're a perfumer there, you have to learn about manufacturing, and to learn about manufacturing you have to learn about sourcing. And with Guerlain, he spent 30 to 45% of his annual time at the fields or at different distilleries around the world. That's what one has to learn, he said. And so he says that none of the raw materials were readily made available to the perfumers at the house of, to Terry Wasser at the House of Guerlain. It wasn't like finding a slice of pizza in your refrigerator. They had to work hard, and they had to make all the raw materials become available to them by visiting these fields and distilleries and putting in a lot of hard work. He didn't need to learn Paulo Denise's work, who was the head of manufacturing, but rather had to acquaint himself to Paulo Denise's job as the head of manufacturing. Now that we all know that Idel was Terry Wasser's first creation at Guerlain, what was Terry Wasser's first love from the House of Guerlain, to which he responds Mitsuko. Also a reference fragrance which we can and we will dive deeper into when we discuss Roja's Diaghilev. But when asked a fan of your own work, he shrugs. Is he a fan of his own work? And says, I'm not such a fan of Wasser, because he said he wears Habit Rouge and his favorite Guerlain of all time is Mitsuko, both of which are not his own creations. So he further goes on to say that he doesn't know how to pick a favorite. As the creating process, you spray on strips, and then the final the way he puts it is that you're the guinea pig So your skin chemistry is what determines what the fragrance is all about, and it's the same thing that I believe in. The final ingredient, the final note in perfumery is your skin. Every scent tells a story, he says, and every story means something to you. If you are present in the moment, you can draw or tell those stories. So to pick a favorite moment would be unfair, he says, as it would be to take away from a moment from all the other memories you have, and would be like stealing from that moment to give to the other. So he prefers not to answer that question, which actually makes sense. Working with Delphine is awesome, he says. She's young, she's wild, and obviously because she's young, she has a different perspective to life, and that she gets to divide all the work for almost the last 10 years as a creative director. Should be 11 this year that I'm making the video now. It reminds me of something I was told the first day of my university, and I remember it clear as day, and I apply to my life on a daily basis. Is there are always two sides to a coin, one being heads, of course, and the other being tail. It depends on which side of the coin you're looking at. So yes, a different perspective always helps. In case of Terry Wazzer, the different perspective comes from Delphine Guerlain. So the usual ingredients one thinks about when creating a fragrance would usually be florals, jasmine, etc., not tobacco as such. Tonka and honey, he says, were used in the 19th century to savor piped tobacco. What you actually need to know here is that the tobacco chord used here in this composition is underlined by sesame seed, if you will, to give it a toasted nuance that evokes smoke to a certain extent, and the use of real authentic honey. There is a reference that he's made to one of the organizations, UNICEF, which Angelina Jolie, the wife of Brad Pitt, is associated with for quite so many years, and they support a cause called Women for Bee. I think it's a program for sustaining, harvesting honey and bees and protecting the bees. And so they use all these, they support all these causes. Guerlain itself, honey is a rather volatile note, he goes on to say, but here they use a distillation technique unique to them, where it captures all the beautiful facets that the ingredient can bring about. In this case, it's the real honey. If you ask me, it's slightly pissy, animalic like. I'm not sure if other people would get it. My wife certainly does. The first time I sprayed the perfume, she's learned these terminologies from all the talks that I keep, all the chats that I keep having with her, and she says it smells pissy, animalic like. In this case, it's the real deal. They do something with, like say for instance, he referenced to the scent of the bergamot. So they distill it with the running water and your grind and the food and the pulp and everything, and the water that goes through the distillation process brings all these deeper, more complex nuances to the scent profile that you're working with. Discontinuing fragrances they touch base on, and he says discontinuing a fragrance is end of the day a business decision, and if the fragrance is not selling on the extremities, like there's no perfume that does not sell, but if it's not selling or it's not cost effective to make anymore, a house would X the fragrance. Heart wrenching, I suppose, to him as well, as he refers to Habit Rouge that he's been using for the past 50 years. And he says if this year it was to be X'd, he'd have to either bounce back with another signature fragrance that he likes personally, or he'd be extremely heartbroken. Let's now get into reviewing tobacco honey, the interesting bit that you all been waiting for. Best atomizers in the business, beautiful presentation, customizable options, super potent, and a very, very authentic and realist honey-based fragrance. So if you like the idea of an intensely sweet, realist honey kind of a note, this one's for you, definitely for you. Although I'm not a lover of very sweet fragrances, and as I earlier mentioned, Nexus did not just move me in a certain way. It didn't. I don't like sweeter fragrances. I like the more complex, more mature kind of fragrances. Sweet fragrances are fragrance that kind of are mass pleasing and safer to wear, but I'd rather wear what I wear than please others. Like I said, although I'm not a lover of sweet fragrances, and it is hard to convince me otherwise, I love this one. I extremely love this fragrance. I think that say a lot about this fragrance. Not to mention, I did love Tobacco Vanille and had it back in the day. I still do like had it, but I think it's kind of watered down, and it's not as intense, or it's not as beefy as it used to be. It does not have the oomph that it used to have. This one, on the other hand, is a winter screamer. It's just something about Nexus that doesn't move me, not to take anything away from the legendary status of that fragrance. The name could be, for this one, the name could be turned the other way around, as it's more, as honey is more dominating a note than tobacco. But I guess it has a pizzazz when you say tobacco first and honey later. And honey is definitely more dominating in this one. Notes, if I may share with you, are honey, oud, vanilla, tonka, tobacco, sandalwood, sesame, anise, and cloves. So a few of my favorite notes. So what's the experience like? First of all, it's quite sweet, as mentioned before. Projection, sillage, and longevity is a solid 10 out of 10, which I guess I probably wouldn't give any other fragrance as of yet. It has oud, but it rather balances and adds a layer of contrast to the rather sweet and syrupy honey. It's powdery for sure. Again, another balancer is the note of tobacco that cuts right through the honey and sweetness, because honey in this one comes off sweet. When the fragrance is drying down, you have this really gorgeous sandalwood along with this sesame, which adds a layer of creaminess and nuttiness to the composition. Also electronic, milky like creaminess that can be created thanks to the accord of sandalwood or sandalwood itself. In the 2 to 3 hour mark, you have the spices come in that add further add warmth to the fragrance. Furthermore, with anise and cloves, but not over the top. The spiciness does not go over the top. It's done to perfection. It might remind you a bit of Back to Black by the House of Guerlain, but in no way does the perfume touch the projection. Guerlain does not touch the projection, the sillage, the longevity that comes with this one. I'm not a big fan for the House of Guerlain, and almost cringe when I think of reviewing a perfume that I blind bought from the House of Guerlain. Love Don't Be Shy, Amber and Oud Special Blends 2023 edition. And the reason why this channel from today has become your very own try it before you buy a channel, and a winner for me. So this is what the box actually comes in. It has a cellophane wrap, which doesn't actually really matter to me. It's a lot of plastic waste, maybe environmental issues with the wastage. It's a beautiful presentation. It's a beautiful box. You have some writings below with details. Once you open the box, you have the 200ml or the 100ml, whichever you decide to purchase for yourself, bottle of tobacco honey. And that's what the juice looks like. It does look like honey, doesn't it? It's kind of dark. It's the way I like my juice. The way I've customized this. Okay, so that's what the bottle looks like. You have threads here and a Guerlain seal. You have the top of the cap in this way, and so you can change the color of the ribbon. I may call it a thread. You can change the color of the thread. You can change. They have multiple options for the caps. And what I've done in the back, I'm not sure if the camera is going to be able to get the detail, but I've got a crown done, and I've got my name engraved, etched in gold, that beautifully contrasts with the color of the juice. You can get these customizable options. You also have a bee at the back of the bottle. If you can see that, I'm not sure. I'll try to, let's see if I can do this again. Yes, I can. And there's a bee that you see at the back of the Guerlain bottles, which is very much here. The sprayer atomizers are next to none. I love the sprayers on LV, I guess, Guerlain, Dior. I just love the sprays, atomizers on them. That's the test strip. That's my atomizer, and this is how it sprays. So it's an awesome mist, and the fragrance itself, I'm telling you, I wore one of my shirts, say about, I think about 2-3 months ago when winter was kind of in, and I took off the shirt, I put it in the hanger, and it was very much there for like 2-3 weeks, and I could still smell tobacco honey from that shirt. A few other ones that I am interested in purchasing in the future are Angelique Noir, Neroli Outre Noir. I think there is Iris Torrefi, Santel. I think is going to be discontinued, or so I heard. I guess one of these was going to be discontinued. Fab Gourmand, they brought back, it was earlier known as Gourmand Cocan, and a lot of people would say that it's not as oomphy, as intense as it used to be. I do like a few other fragrances in this line. Oud Nude is okay. Oud Kohl is more Middle Eastern, a little more intense, I guess. There are many perfumes under there. I think there are about 22 fragrances. They have 6 extracts. The extracts, I think, Iris Torrefi, that I would be interested in. Vanilla Plantifolia, Jasmine, I don't know how to pronounce that word, and I do not want to butcher the names of these perfumes. And there are another 3, Tonka Serapia and another 2. And they're not in my head right now. But so this was the complete bottle presentation, my review for tobacco honey. Till the next time, your host Karamullah Kadwani signing out. Thank you very much for staying till the end, supporting my channel. Hope to see you the next time in another in-depth video or review rather, of more legendary creations. Please do like, share and subscribe to support this channel, and hit the notifications bell. God bless, stay safe, amen.